Well, hello, everybody. I'm Jackie of the Icarus Model, which is a model of equine assisted therapy that we teach here in Arizona. And we also teach it virtually. And that is Fiji. And this is Coral Sky, my gelding and my mare. And I have a couple other horses over there. But I wanted to teach you guys a little bit about equine ethics and equine agency today. So, what we like to do whenever we have sessions, we like to assess our horses. So, we want to make sure that we are assessing our horses to see how they're feeling that day, and that's emotionally and physically. Because if you think about it, we assess our clients and ourselves emotionally and physically. Shouldn't we do the same thing to our horse partners? And knowing your herd is so important because you're going to know what quirks they do when they're not feeling good, what's typical of them and what's not typical of them. Because with horses, every horse is different, just like every human is different. So you really want to know what horse feels like pretty good every day and wants to work. And then also we have equine agency here. So as you saw, just last session, she decided to go eat some hay, go on in her stall. So we allow that. We really like the horses to have a choice and participate. And today is quite windy. So for today, a client participation day, I'd be really cautious. I'd make sure I have horses that are okay in the wind, but I'd still be extra cautious because horses just can't always tell if there's a predator around when it's windy because they can't hear as well. Things shift all the time. Right, Fiji? And then we also like to make sure our horses have access to clean water everywhere. We have about four or five different watering systems here because you never know when a herd member is actually going to guard the water. And you always want to make sure all the horses are drinking really well. Sometimes people salt their horses' food in the winter if they don't drink enough. There's all kinds of things that you can do and practice. We also want to make sure the horses have just as many rights as our clients and as humans because we see them as an equal partner here at the Icarus Model and at Sky Therapy. Yes, we do. This is my young horse, so he's still learning boundaries, learning his space. And yes, he's going to leave because we're talking about him too. So I'm going to go ahead and let him go as well. But I wanted to teach you guys, I always do make sure that I have an equine specialist on staff or I myself am trained in horses. This can be a one-person model. It can be a two-person model. It just depends. At Sky Therapy, what we do is we have a two-person licensed model. So I'll work with some clients individually, but if I ever do groups or if I ever need more assistance, I do have another licensed equine assisted therapist with me in the sessions. That's how we practice. Every other agency is different. You guys are welcome to have, different models and situations, especially if you're not engaging your own horses. Sometimes the owner wants to be on site. Sometimes the owner wants to be the equine specialist. The owner will know the best way they would like their horses cared for. So we really have to honor that and maybe explain or show them some journal research on the best practices, just like I talk about a lot. I always have two horses in a session because I want to make sure the horses have a partner. I want to make sure that we as a human aren't trying to substitute for a herd member. If we were, there are journal research articles that talk about how a human can't substitute as a herd member. And we really have to make sure there's at least two horses in the session so they can best help each other and best meet each other's needs. This is because when we're doing equine assisted psychotherapy or learning, we have to be cautious. It's not just riding a horse. It's not just letting them explore, letting them walk, do things under saddle. It's actually emotional work and it's pretty heavy on the horses. So we want to make sure that they feel comfortable, they're within our herd setting, they're as natural as possible in this setting. I also offer free choice hay for my horses in a slow feeder. You can do this many different ways to prevent ulcers. You can feed hay 4 times a day. You can have slow feeders. You can have the big, huge round bales that some people have. You can have grass during the summer if your horses don't founder and do well on grass pastures. There's all kinds of ways to prevent the ulcers and make sure that we are doing right by the horses. I also like my horses to have at least 2 or 3 days off a week. Just like humans, we need rest. And then during the year, I like my horses to have 2 or 3 months off as well. And this is super easy because in those cold climates, you're going to want to take winter off. It's super cold. And those hot climates like Arizona, We take a lot of time off in the summers. So a lot of the clients don't want to work outside. If they want to work outside, we're just really light on the horses. And we do make sure we take a couple months off so our horses can just be horses. They don't have visitors. They can just work within the herd. We can have some time to bond with them. So I've really loved that throughout my 15 years of practice. And then bonding, getting to know your horses is so important. That's one of the things I love doing in between sessions. Just reciting the horses, just being with them, doing a little bit of body work, learning how to give back. So, and then rotating the horses. You'll know who to rotate in between sessions. I let the horses choose the client, and sometimes I let the client choose the horses. I rarely will choose a horse for a client session. And anytime a horse is injured, you want to make sure they are cleared by a vet or cleared by an expert in some way. Maybe they have some body work, because you don't want them to act rash with clients, and you also don't want them to have undue stress while they're healing. And remember, when we see horses lame, they're typically 3 layers into the lameness. It started somewhere else, and then it's going to manifest maybe in the hoof or manifest in the fetlock joint or something like that. Typically, best practice is having vets check your horses annually. If you run a program or a center, when I build RTCs, that's kind of the standard of practice for some of the higher licensing that we do have in the state of Arizona. And then consulting with the equine nutritionist, those are really, really good. And you can literally just send off your hay to be analyzed to try to see what it's missing. So then you can add in vitamins, you can add in supplements. We use ration balances here. In Arizona, we use pellets. We only use grain if our horses are hard keepers or a little bit older, because we want it to be as natural as possible. And then in Arizona, we like our horses to be a little heavier in the summer, because if they have an issue with the heat or something, it's really hard to put weight on our horses in the summer versus the winter when it's really nice weather like today and the horses eat pretty readily. And then my sessions never go over about 45 minutes. So I always like to do sessions for about 45 minutes, take a break for 15 minutes, give myself a break, the horses a break, and then have your next client. Sometimes they'll go over, that's okay, but just doing 60-minute sessions back to back, 5 in a row would be a lot for yourself and the horses. So really let yourself have some time to develop your program. Don't rush into it. Ask other practitioners, watch my videos, watch videos of other practitioners. I don't have the right way to do it. I just have the way that's worked for me and the people I've trained. And when I train in the Icarus model, I am always constantly changing things up. I ask everybody for feedback. I put everything into consideration. I've revised this model so many times in this manual. I'm always adding new things, always making it easier and clearer for people, because misunderstandings happen. And also some clinicians are like, I just don't understand that. And I keep forgetting how you trained me in the initial training. So I'm always trying to make this better and better. If you do purchase a copy and I do make a revision within 3 months, I do give you the revised copy. So I sell these for PDF models online. There's about, I think it's about 30 interventions in the one for sale. The one I teach the Icarus model in has about 34 interventions, or maybe 35. And they all have a photo, a clear explanation. The one I sell is 76 pages. The one I teach you guys it is about 85 pages. And then we also have the equine consultation virtual group that is international. So you could come. It's about $40 a month to join the group. You get a private Facebook group. You get 10% off everything I offer. And you get a lot of different stuff. So we'll go over mock sessions. I'll answer any questions you have. And it's a lot less expensive than doing the training with me or the consulting with me. Consulting with me is about $200, $220 an hour. And I do have professional forms. So if you're looking for forms, equine-assisted psychotherapy, ecotherapy, informed consent, my attorney drew them all up for Arizona, and you're more than welcome to purchase them if you're in Arizona. If you're outside of Arizona, you could use them as a template and run them by your Board of Behavioral Health. If you're equine-assisted learning, that's great. You just have to run them by a local attorney to make sure that they have all the legalities, because each state has different laws regarding horses. And then the biggest thing to remember is that when you're a practitioner, you need malpractice insurance in addition to equine liability insurance. If you add malpractice equine assisted therapy insurance onto your malpractice plan, like CPH and Associates or HPSO, that doesn't cover injury. It just covers the psychotherapy component, so the mind stuff. You need equine liability insurance. Hallmark Horse, Equisure, there's a bunch of companies that offer it. It's between $600 and $1,000 a year, so it is an investment. So I always say, try things out, start small, start with a couple horses, Don't build your property right away and then launch everything as a nonprofit. Take some time to get your feet wet, feel out what you would like to do. If you enjoy the situation, if you enjoy the work, some people like to add in rhythmic riding or a little bit of riding in. I don't really love to add in the riding. Sometimes we'll do sensory trail rides, but that's about it. So it's really up to you. You get to build your program. And the beauty of it is this is worldwide now. It's going everywhere. So you can network with practitioners everywhere, see how they're doing it in their countries. That's one of the benefits of our consultation group is we have people in Australia, Canada, some of the islands, and we can kind of see and hear what they're doing, which I love. So follow me on my YouTube channel. I have all kinds of mock session videos you can see. I have a video preview of the manual. If you're interested in the consultation group, I can send you the first group for free and you can kind of see if it's something you're interested in. We're really big on satisfaction. We want the people who train under us to feel really good about what they've been trained in, what they're investing their money in. Because right now, the economy is struggling a little bit. So I really want people to be able to work and make ends meet and do really well. So thank you guys for listening. And the horses are over there snoozing. So they weren't big in this video today, which is abnormal because typically my horses are always around. But like I said, the weather is a little different today. So thank you for going over equine ethics with me and some of the best practices of the Icarus model.